Drop it.
Welcome back, my passive income investors. This is what a chicken fresh out of the freezer, thrown in a deep fryer, looks like. Because sometimes we forget way up in the sky, there's this thing called the sun, which is 1.3 million times the volume of Earth, that one day will explode, fertilizing the universe, eventually creating what we call humanity. And while I was frying under the sun on the not so busy streets, I'm looking at all these different businesses that are shut down, and it's so barren, and my heart started to sink. And I got this real bit of clarity getting reminded that I have this awesome community here on YouTube, and I figure you guys might want to get to know me a little better. So in light of crossing 3,000 subscribers, and of course my birthday's coming up this week as well, I'm going to share some really personal information today. So before we get into questions and answers, I want to pose a question to you guys, because I'm a big nerdy fan of space. I feel like you can't really grasp the size of space until you can grasp the understanding of large numbers, and most of us in the finance community love large numbers. We like looking at balance sheets with trillion-dollar assets. And the question I pose to you, which I will answer at the end of this video, but let me know if you can figure it out before we get to the end in that comment section below. But what is the largest conceivable number ever used for a mathematical equation? And I'll give you a hint, it is related to the universe. And the second hint I'm going to give you, no, it is not a Google, because that's how Google got its name. But getting right into this, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with some of the funnier comments that I get really frequently that I never touch on, but this one was great. Absolutely love the video, which was touching until you read the rest of this. After the first 45 seconds were out of the way. Before that, heck, I almost clicked off. But honestly, it was really helpful. Just lay off the coke at the start. This seems to be an ongoing joke that I get a lot because of my energy levels are like through the ceiling. A lot of people think I'm doing drugs or something before I start some of these videos. And if I'm being 100% honest, guys, I've never done coke or anything like that in my life. And I mean, I live in Canada, guys. Weed's available. I've been around the block, but the reason that I stay away from those uppers really passionately is because if you look at my energy levels already, I always presumed I'd be the guy that would die after the first time trying something like coke. So I kind of avoid that. I've spent literally from the time I was 16 up till this year being a full-time performer and magician. I do a lot of DJing, entertainment stuff. I'd get on stage and my whole entire persona is to be hyped, to get people going, to have a good time. And I've carried that through my entire life. And I've realized if you have the right attitude and excitement towards certain things, you're going to attract all the right people, and it's going to lead to an incredible career, because that's how I built my career. And it seems to be reflecting into this YouTube channel. This is a very boring subject that I get very excited about. So I'm hoping you're catching some of those vibes and kind of getting a little bit of interest and passion through me on my YouTube channel here, guys, because that's always the underlying goal, right? Is to get you interested. Now, the next thing that I find absolutely hilarious here is you guys that are trying to get me. I don't know what it is with the trolls out there, ladies and gents, but every so often when I post a video, I'll get a notification that says, at 0.17, these trolls, they try and get you to like click on these links, or they try and get you to go back and look at your video and be like, oh crap, did somebody see like my porn links or something on my laptop? I think it's funny at how often this happens. It literally happens almost every time I post a video. Now, you did get me the first time because I went back and looked and I was like, you know, what link are you talking about? Like, what accidentally got shared? And yeah, so I mean, the troll out there that's doing this repetitively, I don't look at them anymore. I find it really interesting that YouTube has gotten smart enough to kind of classify it as spam. So not only do you not appear in the comments section, the only way I get to see these comments anymore is in the spam box. So, I mean, you're just wasting your time. But I thought it was funny because, you know, I'm an underlying troll and you got me the first time. What can I say? Now, oh, but this is one that I really wanted to touch base on. This guy went on one heck of a rant. I'm just going to skip through this because it's based on a Robert Kiyosaki video. Many of you know I'm not a fan of Robert Kiyosaki, but let me just skim through this real quick, guys. It says, you haven't been to school. They didn't teach me crap about taxes, investing, owning property, and tax liabilities. Wait, they didn't teach me jack other than how to count money. So there is no interest in having a bunch of people asking questions like, how come I qualify for a $300,000 loan? I only make $35,000 a year. They don't want people to have knowledge to analyze financial situations. They want people to act on emotions and not financial facts. So at this point, we're starting to feel, you know, kind of the paranoia vibe building up, you know, that idea that like this whole system is out to make things work in a certain way. But let me keep going here, all right? I'm going to skip through a little bit. It says, the predatory activity practiced by the banking industry, government institutions, and local government institutions, we are taught to obey, trust the man in the white coat that gives you the pills, Trust your car salesman because, hey, he's your friend, and trust all the bankers because they're around to help you, see? Get the F out of here. You're asleep. Not saying Kiyosaki isn't a scam artist, but he is right about the fact we are financially stupid. Now, I want to touch base on this because I think it's a super destructive mindset to have, and it's something that, like, the stoner community, going back to the whole drug topic, is, like, really fond of, talking about, like, you know, the conspiracies of these greater controls pulling the strings, the fact that we're teaching people to be like mules that are supposed to work factory lines. And yeah, the system was kind of created in a manner of getting people used to 9-to-5 jobs. And yes, the old system really wasn't created to help people to be entrepreneurial. But if I'm being honest, the system's changing, guys. I mean, people want to be financially educated and people want their kids to be financially educated, but it was kind of like the system put it on the parents to teach them that. And now the system's realizing it wasn't a good idea to let parents that probably don't know that much about finance teaching their kids this stuff. So they're actually reintroducing it into the school system. And I made videos on this because my buddy's daughter actually in public school is getting taught about how the stock market works, which was something I wasn't taught about. So, I mean, people are itching in the right direction. And you kind of have to loosen up about the system controlling you because you are the system. And I mean, if you're going to put good, impactful information out there and try and make a difference in the world, maybe start teaching kids about finance, starting a YouTube channel to teach young people. But sitting here on a paranoia level where you think the whole world's out to get you and it's a very like fickle system that's all completely controlled by the elites, I mean, it's a very toxic mindset that's not going to get you anywhere in your life, guys. You want to be the person that notices the problems and makes the difference. I mean, if you're out there in the world and you think the younger people aren't being educated about finance, do what I'm doing. Start a bloody YouTube channel, but don't sit here and bitch because I'm just not a fan of Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, the guy's in his own little realm, right? I'm moving into some more comments here to see if you guys can get to know me a little bit better. Let's just scroll through. We got Connor MacLeod here saying, I have 330 different organizations on the books. And I don't know why you say organizations. You sound like you independently own these outside of the markets. But it says maybe too many. But personally, I find it cool that 95% pay me at different times, nearly every week. And yes, if you are a dividend investor out there, primarily we want to focus on a diversification of assets that are going to pay you hopefully a fairly even income month over month. With my 14 positions, I get paid a really steady dividend of usually between 400 to 600. There's months where I get paid a couple hundred more because, you know, most stocks pay quarterly, but I've kind of got it really evened out at this point where my paychecks are very consistent and congruent. But yeah, that's one of the best reasons to diversify. Do you need 330 positions? I'm going to debate that. Moving on, Economic Hitman here says, dude, you're going to get a lot of people in trouble telling them to be buying shares in the worst financial conditions since World War II. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And though I talk about it a lot, I don't advise you to listen to a YouTuber that lives at home with his parents at 28 years old. I mean, that's your own stupidity if I'm being 100% honest. I am here for entertainment to show you guys what I'm doing and hopefully inspire you to educate yourself and find some conditions and, you know, change your financial future. But let's keep going here, guys. Jason Lee says, I'm a very new investor, just started with $300 and have bought some shares with companies like Enbridge. Do you have any advice in regards with reading a company's balance sheet and what I should look for? I'm mainly looking to invest into dividends. Sorry for my lack of terminology. Yeah, buddy, I actually just, we started a whole website called Passive Income Educator where I actually have a $2 course on teaching you about understanding balance sheets and the things I specifically look for. So in light of making that video, which is something like 2 hours long and everything you'll ever need to know about a balance sheet, I'm going to steer you off into that direction rather than answering this question directly because, I mean, I could literally make a whole video on just what you asked me here. But yeah, but down here, this was a really good answer by Eddie Brazer. Says start by looking into EPS, earnings per share, maybe like assets versus liabilities is all the stuff that we kind of pay attention to. So I'm just going to answer a few quick more here, guys, and then I'm going to answer that question about what is the largest known mathematical number in the universe that has ever been physically used. But taking a look, excess Indurid Cold 99, I don't know what your username is here, but it says back at it like a crack addict. Really loving these videos. Thanks so much, brother. I'm going to slap you with some likes there. Holy geez, we got an OG subscriber. I'm going to have to read this one. This guy's been around since I think post 300 subscribers, but he says, nah, those in the comments complaining about high energy stock talk shows how long they've been in the market. Guys like Kyle here and Jeremy at Financial Education and even Kramer bringing energy to what was for years the most boring analytical drudge, and I might add monotone mumbling. Back in the day, haha was a whole different scene where boring was the norm. Cheers to the new breed of investing, making it fun. Kudos to you. Oh my goodness. I accidentally just scrolled onto this. I was just going to skip over this, and I think you touched on it the best, man. And it's just crazy, man, because this is the truth. I really think it's important for people to recognize that if you put your mind to it and you get excited by our excitement, hopefully it puts you on a path to realizing, heck, you can achieve your financial dreams and have the life you truly want. So thanks so much from an OG subscriber. I mean, you couldn't have said that better, in my opinion. But to finish all of this off, to kind of share with you guys some light on my own personal life here, I don't talk about it a lot. Space, I think, is a more boring topic for people than finance, if I'm being 100% honest, because it is really hard for people to wrap their mind around space. But today I'm going to share with you one of the nerdiest things and just stuff that I love in general learning about. And what is the largest known conceivable number ever used in a mathematical equation? Because, well, again, a lot of us in the financial realm only just started learning about trillion-dollar numbers. Before that, most people only deal with 10, 50, maybe $100 increments on a regular basis. A lot of us might be aware of things called like what goes beyond a trillion. Well, then you're getting into like quadrillions and then sextillions. And then beyond that, the most largest conceivable number people are usually aware of is something called a Google, because that's where Google got its name from. But there is one number larger than Google, which is known as a Googleplex. But that isn't the number I'm talking about. But what is the number that goes beyond a Googleplex? It's called Skews Number. Skews Number, and bear with me here, don't click off, consider slapping a like, because this is some fascinating stuff to me anyways, but Skews Number represents the idea of every plausible outcome for every single bit of matter that could ever happen in the entire known universe. What do I mean by that? Well, let's presume you're sitting next to me, and you took one cell out of me, put it into you, and I took your one cell and put it into me. That is one conceivable option within the entire known universe, but that's a very macro scale of it. Now imagine everything and every conceivable outcome that could ever be imaginable. It's literally like running a simulation on your computer and just imagining all those little bits of information and how many ways you could structure them and put them together like a puzzle piece. That is what Skews Number represents for, say, something like a Googleplex, but on the entire scale of the universe. And it is apparently mathematically accurate to some varying degree. And I just, again, want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart with my sunburned face, guys, that, yeah, I started my financial journey 5 years ago. There was not a lot of people on YouTube. There wasn't a lot of people in the community. I spent a lot of time listening to things like BNN, and I am so thankful that this community is a growing, thriving thing on YouTube, and I can't wait to see what the next year of all of this brings. So stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll catch you tomorrow.